Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about The Veldt, written by Ray Bradbury. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, this short story is quite chilling. There's a lot that's going on within this work. We meet these two parents by the name of George and Lydia. George and Lydia, they have a house that they paid $30,000 for, and it's a very futuristic society that they live in. And the home pretty much does everything. It cooks, it cleans, it helps you. It has appliances and things that can help you brush your teeth, that can tie your shoes. Everything is done automatically. Everything is done by the technology, the robots. Like every single thing in this house is a machine. I mean, they don't have to cook for themselves. I mean, it's so weird that they probably don't even have to wipe their own behinds. That's how the story presents itself, to the point where George and Lydia, they don't even have to be parents. They have these two kids by the name of Peter and Wendy. And Peter and Wendy, they have this nursery that their father bought for them, that they paid a lot of money for. And the nursery is just like a virtual reality room where anything that you could think of at all, it'll just bring it to life, or just put it on the screen, and you're like in that place. So you can go in that nursery and you can be on top of a mountain, or you can be in Africa, or you can be in Europe, or you can be in anywhere you want. So it's like this virtual reality room where you can experience anything. But the virtual reality room becomes very realistic, and these kids, Peter and Wendy, they keep, um, you know, bringing up the Veldt with these lions that are eating things, and the lions are very realistic. When George and Lydia, their parents go into the nursery to check it out, the lions run after them and almost try to eat them, because the kids actually hate their parents. They absolutely positively hate their parents. They want their parents to die, and that and no you know that and that's what happens within this work. And so the work goes on, and the parents try to establish authority. They try to establish authority. They try to establish try to be parents, because pretty much there was a lot of neglect throughout the work. They didn't pay attention to their kid, but at some point throughout this work, they try to establish authority. They try to establish rules, and the kids are like, "You're funny, you're funny. Now you want to be our parents. Now you want to help us out." It comes to the point where George and Lydia, they actually get a psychologist into the mix, and the psychologist. The psychologist is like telling them what to do. The psychologist is there with them, and they're talking to him. The psychologist's name is David MC Clean, and so he comes in, and basically he's telling them that they've relied too much on technology, that they're not really parents, that the nursery has replaced them as the parents here, that the nursery has taught them discipline and punishment, and the nursery is their parents, and they're not their parents anymore. And the psychologist tells them, listen, you're gonna have to like shut all this off and go on a vacation and somehow break away and send your kids to me for 1 year so I can teach them, so I can fix their mental problems, because they're too far gone. They're actually thinking about killing you guys. And so the house, it's called the happy life system. That's the whole idea of this household that they live in, but it's really not happy, because throughout the whole work, it's very ominous that something's going to happen to the parents. Because the lions, every time they run across the lions are always eating something that they can't tell they're eating, what animal they're eating. And strange screams keep coming from the nursery at strange times. And so the kids pretty much belong to the nursery. They're in there 24/7. They don't spend time with the parents. And in terms of deeper meaning, one thing I'll take from this short story, it's a warning to us who love technology, how technology can ruin our relationships with one another. And technology has affected human beings quite a lot. Nowadays, when you're having a conversation with someone, as soon as the moment gets awkward, you look at your cell phone, right? The cell phone is the technology that we all just pretty much adhere to. We follow it, we keep it with us, we go everywhere with it. If you're talking to somebody and you're shy or you're nervous, you look at your phone. If you're talking to a girl and let's say you're trying to date a girl and something happens and you're nervous and it goes wrong, you pull out your phone to make it less awkward. So people use their cell phones as a crutch, as a disruptor, somehow to get away from the situation, somehow to look away, to not look into people's eyes, to make the situation less tense. And this short story pretty much takes it to a whole nother level by showing us that technology can divide parents and their children, and really, really divide them to the point where the children hate the parents because the parents are trying to separate the children from their technology. So it gets to the point where the father, where George and Lydia, they try to shut off the house, shut off all the appliances, they shut it all off, they shut off the nursery, and the kids they just literally go crazy. They go nuts. They lose their minds. They're like, no, 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 let us have the nursery one more time, one more time. Let us go back into the nursery. And George get fed, he's like, fine, go into the nursery, whatever. The mom goes with them, and then the kids call the parents back into the nursery. So George and Lydia, they go into the nursery because their kids called them into it. When they turn it back on after turning it off, and pretty much the kids make the lions devour their parents, and the lions eat the parents. And throughout the short story, I do have this concept. There's some evidence to say that the strange screams that they always hear coming from the nursery, it could have been the kids feeding the lions people. I mean, there's no immense level of evidence to prove that, but the strange screams that keep coming up throughout this, this short story, strange screams, not knowing what the lions are devouring, not knowing what they're eating, and every time they look, they can't understand what the lions are eating. There's some hint of suspicion to say that maybe these kids have been feeding these lions people, you know maybe because they just fed their parents to the lions. What's to stop them from feeding other people to the lions? Because throughout the work we just keep finding these lions devouring things that we cannot tell, we cannot see, we cannot understand what they're eating. And in the end, the kids feed their parents to the lions, and they don't shed a tear over it. They actually sit there and drink tea, while the lions are devouring their own parents. They have no remorse whatsoever. And the psychologist come in, David comes in, he's like, "Where are your parents?" And they're like, "Yeah, our parents are coming. Don't worry about it." And it kind of short story pretty much ends with us thinking that the kids are gonna go after the David next because he's the one that told George and Lydia to shut off everything. So they might go after him next. So in the short story begins with this, a mother and father, George and Lydia, buying this house, giving their children their best. Their children get spoiled with technology, spoiled with the life of luxury, of having technology, having the machines do everything for you, to the point where the kids, they bond with the technology more than their parents, and they rely on the nursery to be their parents. And then when the parents try to step in to be actual parents from neglecting them for so long, the kids lose their minds and make the nursery devour, the lions in the nursery devour the parents. Now, the technology wasn't supposed to be real. The lions weren't supposed to be real. This was supposed to be 3D. But somehow the technology is so advanced that the lions actually devoured the parents and killed them. And the psychologist doesn't know what to do at the end because these kids are cold blooded. Cold blooded. They killed their own parents. They don't feel bad about it. And the psychologist may be next. And so that's what happens within this work. It really shows us a futuristic society when everything goes wrong. In terms of deeper meaning and analysis here, there's a lot to take in. Again, I've already said that in our society nowadays, technology is becoming a huge worry with AI and all types of technologies being developed, from Neuralink to AI to all types of self programming, self understanding, self driving. Technology is becoming extremely advanced, and it might come to the point where it might start killing us, or turning us so far against each other that we have no more humanity left. Because these kids, they killed their parents without flinching. They killed their parents because of the attachment they had to the nursery. It came to the point where the nursery is their family and not their parents, because they don't respect their parents, they don't love their parents, they don't care about their parents. Even when their parents try to lay down the law and show them, tell them to be respectful and set down, rules and boundaries, they do not believe their parents, because in truthfulness, the nursery is the parent. And even the psychologist said this within the short work. He said that you've neglected them, you haven't paid attention to them, you don't even know how to cook your own food. So it comes to a point where your neglect, it reached a point where the kids just relied upon the nursery to for guidance and leadership, because you weren't providing them with guidance and leadership. And in an even deeper meaning, we can say that the kids became as ruthless as lions, because their parents weren't taking care of them, so the lions took care of them. And lions are brutal. I mean, for example, when a male lion takes over a new pride, it kills the children of all the other of the lion that was there before. So it will make a new pride with its own children. In the same way, so that shows you how brutal and cold lions are. And in the same way, Peter and Wendy, they become extremely brutal and unforgiving, just like lions, to the point where if you threaten them, if you get in their way, they will devour you alive. And that's where the story's left off. Technology can make humans, or one warning of this is that technology can make humans as cold as lions, as cold blooded, murderous killers as lions, because the kids are so bad, are so far away from their parents, so disattached from their parents, that they drank tea. They drank tea while their parents were being killed. And technology, I would say, today is making a lot of humans desensitized, unloving, cold hearted, uh, more and more each day. So this is a warning that Ray Bradbury gave us within the short story, and I think it is becoming extremely true to this day. I mean, if you go online, if you go on websites, you can find stories of parents beating up their kids, beating their kids, assaulting their kids for getting the way, I don't know, for smashing an Xbox, a PlayStation. There's some parents that are really into video games, really into the technology, and if their kids misuse or break or destroy their prized technology possessions, some parents have taken drastic measures to punish their children, even to the point of beatings. There was a case I heard a long time ago where this father brutally, beat his child because the child broke a game station. And so if it's already this bad now, when we don't have this type of technology appeared within this short story, imagine what it's going to be like when we do have this type of technology that Ray Bradbury talks about within this short story. So it is a warning, and I would say in some ways it is a prophecy of what's to come. The more and more humans, drop themselves into the realm of technology, and go away from human social connections. It's a sheer thing that will destroy our civilization, because if humans are not united, if we're not connected, we're divided and we will hurt each other. So very deep story, very bleak, very dark, and it brings us a lot to think about. So that's all I have to say about it. Please remember to even like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.